Welcome to the Oh My Gosh, You're Glowing podcast, a space where the root of bio-individual energetics is exposed and glowing from the inside out becomes inevitable. I'm your host, Lindsay Walker, former IT software developer turned multidimensional healer and founder of Soul Fam Wellness. This podcast is for healers, light workers, new earth leaders, and conscious women, aka awakened luminaries, who are lighting your own path forward, allergic to band-aid fixes, and respect the deep inner work. Every week, I bring you raw and honest conversations to activate your unique soul codes, supporting your grounded ascension. This is where multidimensional healing becomes a roadmap back to your soul. Because let's be real, living your entire life on a constant healing journey was never the goal anyways. We made it back. We are here after 5 months of a very unplanned hiatus. The Oh My Gosh, You're Glowing podcast is back. I know. You probably thought I was just going to ghost you forever and never come back, but we are back. We are here, and with some revived, rejuvenated energy, some energy that just needed to take time to eventually show up. And while, yes, this 5-month break was not planned in the slightest, I learned a lot by stepping away from this project, right? By stepping away from the podcast to really reevaluate why I'm doing the podcast, why this podcast wants to be created, wants to come through me, what the intention is, and also what it wants to be moving forward. So, yes, we are back. Yes, you can expect the same real, raw, unedited, honest conversations, solo episodes, solo channeled episodes, and all of the incredible guests that are invite only that I bring on. That is all still very much staying the same. Today is actually an incredible guest episode podcast. So we'll get to that in a minute. But all of that's going to stay the same. However, there is going to be a more polished vibe moving forward. And when I say polished, look, I love truth and authenticity and just like pressing play on this mic, showing up, pressing play, and just seeing whatever the hell comes out of my mouth. If you listen to episode 1, you know that's exactly how this podcast started. I didn't have an intro. I didn't have any editing. I had nothing. I just had a screen, a microphone, and myself and my voice. And that was the best way to start this podcast for so many reasons. Not only for me to just get on the microphone and do it and stop making excuses, my perfectionism qualities that are not bad necessarily, but they can definitely be a hindering block to stopping something or thinking I have to have, this entire production studio to actually start a podcast, which is not the case. That is not the truth. And in fact, there's a lot of codes, there's a lot of messages that want to come through me and want to come through me to you. So starting it in that real, raw, very unpolished form was the best way to get started. And now she is asking for a little bit of polish, more professionalism, the energy is more like, hey, I'm a big deal here, which is incredible for the podcast, the guest that we have on today. This is like such the energy that, restarting this podcast is really wanting to be in. She's like, hey, I'm a big deal. I want to be seen. I want to be known. Just wait for that. That word's a big deal right now. I want to be seen. I want to be known. I am someone. I am something to, this is the podcast speaking, by the way. This is Oh My Gosh, You're Glowing podcast speaking. She's like, I want to be something that is really taken seriously, and not taken seriously in like the corporate professional, like icky, kind of way, but in I am something to listen to. I'm something to pay attention to. So with that, after, some energy just needed to be cleared, I needed to sit with a lot of my own energy and decide like what wanted to be done moving forward. And with that, you already heard there's a new intro for the podcast. I am going to be giving like a little bit of intro myself on all of the guest episodes. So before we would just dive right in. There was no intro, there was no outro, there was nothing. It was just like whatever was recorded on Zoom is what you guys heard. And that's still going to be the case. I'm still going to roll with the unedited raw version of these because I just love that fully drop in channel moment without editing everything to make it feel robotic. Don't love that. Not going to do it. So that is all going to stay the same, but with the intro being added, the I can come on and talk with you all here even when we have guests. So you're still going to hear from me just one-on-one at the beginning of each guest episode so we can just chat and connect, and then we'll get into guest episodes. I'm going to be committing to more solo episodes. I know that those fell off a little bit when I introduced guests, and so if I feel like the pendulum swung way too far. So I started this podcast with all solo episodes, and then I swung all the way back into the opposite end of all guest episodes. And so now we're finding the happy medium of keeping guests on, but also making sure that there are lots of solo episodes as well, because I have lots to share with you. So it's going to be a combination of things I just want to share and teach and channeled messages that want to come through me, along with the very real life stories that I love to come on and share with you as well. So I'm actually headed to the Tucson Gem and Mineral Show tomorrow. So there's going to be an episode coming out pretty soon after that about all of the things that happen in that weekend, because I can't plan for what's going to happen. You just never know. Anyways, today's episode is very timely. So we actually recorded this back in December. And the interesting thing about this particular podcast is that when we recorded this, I kind of was like the messages she was sharing, I was like, oh, these are great. But at the time, they didn't necessarily feel like they really resonated with me. Well, apparently all I had to do was give it like 2 weeks, because we're now sitting in January 2026. This is going to come out in February. And her message hit stronger than I could have ever imagined. So I'm actually in a meditation challenge right now with Christina Rice, aka Christina the Channel. So I'm doing her meditation challenge for 30 days. And at the very beginning, she has you go through a meditation to say, like, what does your soul actually want to manifest? Because, we say we want more clients, we want more money, we want health, we want vitality, we want, I don't know, all of these tangible 3D ego things. And the funny part is, my brain thought, oh, it's going to be this one thing. And then when I sat down and did the meditation and actually asked my soul, what is the root of the root that we're wanting to manifest? And the super interesting thing was that what came forward was being known. And at first I was like, this seems like such an ego thing. Like, why do I want to be known? Like, why is this important? Like, there's so many other things that should probably be prioritized before being known. Like, who cares? And the fact that it came through my soul, in this moment, I was like, okay, this is not an ego thing. And the interesting thing is that we had already recorded this episode. So then in this meditation, I'm getting like stories and like visual flashings of like things that Kelly talked about in this episode. And so it kind of felt like, for me, she primed me for what my soul was trying to tell me. I just had no idea. And I'm like getting chills telling you about this. And her and I have this crazy, unexplainable soul connection to now I am realizing is so much deeper than I even understood. And you'll hear us talk about it in this episode. But anyways, so this entire month, I've really been working on focusing on manifesting from a soul level, being known, and what does that mean? And not just from an ego standpoint of like, oh, I want people to know who I am, like, oh, I want a ton of followers. No, but it's really like, hey, I have unique codes. I have a unique mission. I have incredible healing abilities to really bring to the world. And that needs to be known. People need to know who I am. And even saying that out loud feels a little cringy. Like, I'm not going to lie. I'm getting used to owning that and claiming that, because it's not just an ego thing. When what I do and my work is known, then this really ripples out in effect, a positive effect on other people. And so sometimes, and it's also, it's 333 as I say this. So it's putting yourself aside, putting your ego aside to ask yourself and your soul what is really wanting to come through for you. And with this, so Kelly talks a lot about being known from her perspective, and she has, I'm not gonna take away her big spotlight for her episode, but I will say if you're like, I don't really want to be known, this isn't something that I really am interested in, I think I might skip this one, I would really encourage you to stay for what she has to say, because there can be levels to being known, and we really dive into that. It's not just the Hollywood, put yourself on a billboard, which is like kind of ironic that I was on a billboard last year. But anyways, it's not just, being known for the ego trip. There's actually a vibrational reason, and now that I've seen it from my soul, there's absolutely a deeper root of why that this is something that you would desire. And you could desire on multiple levels. So, this episode features Kelly Pender. Wealth Tapping Queen is a subconscious wealth identity expert and founder of a RICHCODED Movement and Certification. She guides spiritual entrepreneurs to unlock their big fucking deal wealth identity and births movements that transform the world using her psychic abilities to see their blind spots, activate their unique genius, and channel the rich codes they were born to embody. Her signature approach blends EFT tapping, quantum energetics, epigenetics, and subconscious rewiring to shift how money and visibility respond to you. She is an incredible woman, super powerful, super potent, and has an incredible message for you all. So stay for this episode with Kelly. And before we jump into this guest episode, I also want to let you know that I have released a brand new one-on-one session with me, or it's really not brand new. It is more of an upgrade. So there's a theme around here. Everything at Soul Fame Wellness is getting upgraded, and including myself. Well, yeah. Anyways, so, and I don't mean anything big by that. I'm just saying I'm focusing on myself and meditating and committing to myself. So don't read into that by any means. But I have recently opened up spots for a new upgraded signature one-on-one offering called the Multidimensional Body Reading. And this is an energy body reading, soul reading, and also an energy healing at the very end. So we really focus on your body, any health challenges that you may be going through, or even just wanting to optimize your health for, if you're planning for pregnancy, or you just really want to feel amazing in your body. If you're an entrepreneur and you are doing all the things and you really want to focus on your body, but what is your soul asking you to focus on as well? Because it's not just the physical, it is the multidimensional aspect. And so with that, yes, it is a reading, but then also an energy healing, which is a client favorite and my favorite as well. So if this is calling to you, there is more details in the show notes. Go ahead and get more information. You can book your session there, and I cannot wait to work with you. With that, without further ado, let's dive into today's guest episode with Kelly. Enjoy. Hello and welcome back to the Oh My Gosh, You're Glowing podcast. My name is Lindsay Walker, and today we have an incredible guest episode. I am standing here in the virtual ethers with this beautiful woman. If you're watching on video, you definitely should, because she is radiant. Kelly Pender, the wealth tapping queen. She is here with me today to talk about some really deep energetics of wealth and her take on what fame frequency is, because I know that that can be maybe a little surface based, but I don't want you to leave just yet, because I know this woman is all about the root cause, which we are here too. So Kelly, welcome to the podcast.
Yes, Lindsay, thank you so much for having me. I know that this is going to be iconic. We already had you on my pod, and our energy together is so magnetic. So this is going to be so fun and special.
It is. I know. Yes, we've already had a conversation. So if you haven't listened to that, go over and listen to Kelly's podcast on Rewire Yourself Rich. It was absolutely an incredible conversation. And now you all get to hear her side as well. And so, we met in New York City, which I feel like your vibe, it just really matches who you are. I'm just so grateful that that's where I was able to meet you. It just felt like you were in your essence, in your vibe, in your energy. And the fact that you have something known as the fame frequency, it is just the absolute best thing ever that that is where we met because I feel like I could really feel your energy, feel your vibe with that city. And
Mhm.
while you don't live there, I would just love to know like how did you feel being in the city? Like was that feeling like a very homey place for you or did you feel out of your element?
So it didn't feel like home, but it
Okay.
felt like an activation portal,
Ooh,
right? So
yeah.
it felt like, ooh, and I could feel it because where we live, we can drive to New York City, right? It's like 3 hour drive. And I could feel right when we were coming in through the tunnel, it was like, oh, you just feel different and you feel activated. And
Yeah.
so it's not a place that I desire to live, right? And that's what I say when I mean it doesn't feel like home. I don't want to live there and call it my home.
It's fair.
But I do like to go there because it is an activation portal of next level you. And I could feel me collapsing timelines and being like, I've arrived.
Yeah. Well, and when you do travel to different places, like have you felt that before where you travel to different places and you're activating different frequencies or you become
Mhm.
a new version of yourself, or is it just in New York City?
For sure, definitely different places, but there's something about New York City that has that fame frequency, that has that spotlight energy, that has that I know that I belong here because I'm a big
Mhm.
fucking deal energy and
Mm.
activation. So there's definitely something special about New York City.
Oh, certainly. Absolutely. I can 100% agree with you. And
Mhm.
just the fact that that has really activated you even more so in your work, I just think is the coolest thing ever. Like that experience was absolutely brought to you for such a divine purpose.
Yes. Yeah, it was. Yeah, and you actually remember I told you the story. You helped me.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about this. Genuinely, totally
Yeah.
forgot. Okay, you have to tell the rest of this.
Okay, so when I had the opportunity to be featured on the billboard and cover of the Aralis magazine, I was like, okay, this feels like, yes, this feels like aligned everything just from divine, from source, from God. And then I was like, let me just go a little bit deeper here just to really confirm, right?
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
I never heard of the magazine before. And
Hmm.
so I could feel my logic human side kicking in, which is fine. And so I did a little research and you were the first person that I found. And I found your Instagram and I watched your reels on the billboard. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I love this. Okay. She's the real deal. I love her energy. She already had this experience, and I felt this energetic connection to you, and it just amplified the yes. And then I was all the way in. And so it was very cool that that's how I first met you, that you had no idea about. I already had an
Yeah.
energetic connection with you through Instagram.
Hmm.
And then when I met you in person, I was like, hello, this is so exciting because you were my energetic permission slip unknowingly.
Wow. Oh my gosh. I got full body chills and I truly, truly, truly forgot about that story. I know that you told me that in person,
Mm-hmm.
but wow, that is just the coolest thing to not only one, you're basically showing how much that we can be so energetically connected. For when you said you were my energetic permission slip, how many times are you an energetic permission slip for other women, other people who are watching you and you have no idea that this is actually changing their life? I had no idea that me saying yes was going to initiate you to say yes. Like I had zero clue. I didn't even know who you were. I didn't know you
Yeah.
existed. And it was just like that to me is one of the best reasons to go out and do your soul's work, to do the work that
Mm-hmm.
you are here to do. And I
Mm-hmm.
would love to hear your take on that of what has really guided you to really step into your soul's work, your purpose. Like, is there any part of that? Have you seen that in other examples where, you have led other women to really start their dream or to go after their dream? Like, what hasn't been like for you?
Yes, all of that. Everything has been, I mean, truly, you know this. All of us are so led by that inner divine guidance, and all of
Mhm.
us are led by our soul purpose. And it's up to you to accept those intuitive nudges, to accept those invitations, to accept that energetic frequency or not.
Mhm.
And from where I was, so I started as a full-time yoga teacher to where I am now, everything has been this like knock, 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 this little nudge on the door. And I've had people say things to me like, oh my God, just by you leading, just by you being brave, just by you doing this and showing up online and whatever and starting your podcast, and that gave me a permission slip to start my own business, to go bigger, to go bolder. And I'm like, there's something here with leadership, and there's something here with paving the path, and there's something here with frequency and identity. And so that led me to my body of work and movement now.
Wow. And I want to like stop and like really kind of stay here for a minute because we're talking a lot about the way I brought this up was talking about how other people see us and how we are impacting other people. And I think that's incredible because that's one piece of it. But I also want to really highlight a piece that you said because it's like that's part of the result that will sometimes happen if that is just meant to be the path for you and for others and having that impact. But you also mentioned you following your own intuitive nudges. So it really wasn't like you were doing this for other people. That's more of the byproduct. And I bring this up because I see a lot of people go after the impact for other people because of the validation that they're getting from others. So, can you talk about how you really listen to yourself and you're letting the byproduct happen, impacting others, but that's not maybe the driving factor, or is it for you?
It's definitely not. Okay, so there's a few different layers here. External validation is not the driving factor.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing that you are amplifying others' leadership, way of being, and desires is incredible. And that is the side effect, right?
Mm-hmm.
But truly, when you are, and here's a thing that I want to preface when you receive these intuitive hits and nudges, they're very uncomfortable. They stretch you, they expand you, and they make absolute no sense based off of your current circumstances. And
Mm-hmm.
so I actually want to share a story of a vision that came in
Yeah, please.
almost 2 years ago when I was pregnant with my second. She's turning 2 tomorrow, which is cool. So it's
Oh.
full circle. But I was getting out of logic and I was playing in the quantum fields. And this is what I'm talking about when I say follow your intuitive hits and nudges and visions. So I was meditating and I was like, what does the version of me who's leading her multi-million-dollar movement desire? Like, what do I need to know to bring her forward? And what I saw was like eyes open in shock. How can I do this? This makes no sense. This is going to take me at least 5, 7, 10 years. Okay. Like at the time, about to birth, just needing to know where the nearest toilet and couch was. And this vision was me traveling, leaving my family, being on stage, full glam, like in my leadership, in my power, like I've never done before. And at that time, I was shifting from mindset coach, manifestation coach into identity work. And
Mm-hmm.
it didn't make sense. It felt like I needed more certifications. I needed more experience. I needed more time. I needed more this, that, the other thing, more followers on Instagram in order for that to happen. And when you receive those intuitive hits, it wasn't about anyone else. It was about, oh, this is me, my higher self, my quantum self, showing me what I've already done, what's already achieved in the quantum field. And it's up to me to follow that. But you first have to accept that invitation because you know you're being led by something greater, by something bigger than you. And that to
Mm-hmm.
me is the driving force.
Yeah. What was it that really allowed you to follow those nudges? Because you're saying it was so uncomfortable. It was so completely the opposite of the life that you were living. So was it just like a switch of or like, did you just turn on a new light bulb that day and just start acting differently? Like, what was it for you? Was it gradual?
It was so in that moment, I was like, okay, I asked myself and my quantum self, what is it that I truly desire? And so I got so clear and so honest with myself. And because that came through, it was like, okay, I can just dilly dally and dance around this truth, or I can accept this as truth and I can commit to that vision. I can
Mm.
commit to that desire, and I can commit to my higher self, my quantum self, who's like, hello, this is a gift from me to you. Do you accept?
Hmm. So I see a lot of people do exactly what you're saying. They see their higher self, and to really reiterate that it's not always easiest. It's not always what you're seeing in your current life, and that's exactly what you just explained in that story. But also, did you bounce back and forth between your future self and your current self? Because the reason I ask is I see a lot of people will see their future self. And like you're saying, I don't know how long this is going to take to create. I don't know how long this is going to take to bring forth into my current reality. But were you all in without any, validation, any logic, just so truly delusionally following your future self? Or did you have those moments of coming back and forth?
Of course, I had those moments of coming back and forth because I'd be lying to you and saying, I'm not human.
Hmm.
We're human. So we have emotions, we have logic come up, we have like, but how? And then at times we get stuck there. At
Mm.
times we identify with logic, with lack, with our current circumstances. And we have to honor the human. We have to honor the emotions. Like, is it possible that you can be totally delulu, as you say, day in and day out? I don't think so, because you're a human and we have to honor the human. And so, yeah, I ping ponged back and forth, right? But there's also a mastery to that when you accept the human and don't let human and logic override you and overtake you, because your brain and body will 1,000,000% fight like hell to keep you where you are. And it's up to you to choose to believe the lies that your brain will tell you to keep you in your current circumstances or not.
Mm.
Everything is a choice.
Yeah, absolutely. But I love that you do bring back the humanness, because I think I hear a lot of people say, no, you just have to push through. Like, if you come back into this old energy and you're ping-ponging back and forth, like, you're doomed, it's not going to happen anymore. And I think you just gave a lot of levity to the human experience, to having emotions, because there's nothing wrong with going back and forth. Yes, there is definitely a push forward that you really have to have if you want to make something happen. Like you just mentioned, like you have to have a direction, you have to have a goal, you have to have a path that you're working towards.
Yeah.
However, this humanness I don't see as often talked about, because I see a lot of coaches and business women out there just saying you have to be absolutely crazy and you can't stop, and the second you take one step backwards, I guess all of your forward motion is over. Thank you, Zoom, for giving me the thumbs up on that one. But I love that you gave it that human feeling, because I think it's going to really help the listeners really realize that it's not every single day is quote unquote perfect. You're going to have the
No.
human days. But I would love to know what led you through those human days. Like, how did you lead yourself through them?
Yes. Okay. This is my favorite question because this truly is not talked about and not normalized on social media or in this realm. And this is why I'm so passionate about normalizing the human, because otherwise you feel shamed, you feel blamed, and you feel like you're doing something wrong. And when we
Hmm.
feel those emotional feelings, what are we going to do? We're going to pull back and be like, why did I even try? Who do I think I am? And I do not encourage that.
Hmm.
So here's the thing: when you have those emotions and those humanness thoughts come up, this is how I like to teach it, because all of us can be like, oh my God, I feel out of control. I feel out of control. And maybe I should just believe my brain. Maybe I should believe my body, who's craving that familiarity of worry, of anxiety, of it's not going to work out for me.
Hmm.
And the moment, this is how you lead yourself through it. The moment that you become aware, awareness will change everything for you. You have to be aware of, as you are moving towards your greater vision and you're like, I'm a big fucking deal. I'm amazing. I'm in the spotlight. I'm known. And then you hear like, who do you think you are? No, you're not. You're a loser. When you hear things like that, when you are aware is when you can see, okay, that is just my brain having beliefs tied to an old identity where it felt safer to not be seen, where it felt safer to not be known, where it felt safer to shrink and hide because maybe I thought, oh, by being seen, by being rich, my partner would be insecure and leave me. My
Mhm.
mom would be like, what? She makes more money than me. And then we wouldn't have a relationship. Right.
Mhm.
And so these are things we can talk about if you want to talk about the root. But being aware of where your brain is having these beliefs, trying to take you back to the old, trying to take you back to not going after your greater vision. And when you are aware is when you can see it as, is that the ultimate truth? Is it the ultimate truth that I'm not good enough? Is it the ultimate truth that I'm not worthy? Is it the ultimate truth that I can't make this happen? No. And when you can see it's not the ultimate truth, it's just lies to distort you from where you're going, is when you can choose something different. You can
Mhm.
choose a new feeling, but you can't choose a new feeling if you're not honoring the emotion attached to that old belief system. And this is
Mhm.
why so many people in the coaching industry are like, no, you're fine. Just keep moving forward. It's like, no, I'm not fucking fine. Can we
Yeah.
please process the emotion and please process the belief so that we can then alchemize it and expand our capacity of receiving and then move forward? But we can't move forward until we process that emotion that wants to be seen, heard, and witnessed.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I love that. I love that that is your, like the way you walk through this and the way that you walk your clients through this as well and what you're really about because I also am very big on feeling and expressing the emotions from a health standpoint, but the fact that you are seeing this as well in an identity standpoint as well, we're coming back to the same thing. It's really all about, again, your humanness. It's again, okay, humanness requires feeling emotions. And look at how much feeling emotions are actually going to take you through. And like you said, alchemize, because energy can't be created or destroyed. So if it's here, and like you're saying, a lot of people will just say, oh, you're fine, just keep going up. And like you're saying, you're not fine, but it's okay to not be fine. Like I just really want to say that. It's okay to not be fine. It's okay to not feel fine
Mm-hmm.
because I know I've had this in the past of, oh, I feel like I'm not fine. Like let me find my way too good, too fine. And
Yes.
you just said it, it's through that alchemizing of the energy because you can't get rid of it. It's already there. So you might
Mm-hmm.
as well just face it. And like you said, have that awareness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's it. Face it. And this is the thing. When you are identity shifting, when you are going after a greater vision goal, it requires you to get massively uncomfortable. And we were taught since birth, in the womb, past life, and generational, to be like, everything's fine. If you're feeling uncomfortable, just keep going. Like, let's keep sweeping things under the rug and pretend everything's dandy. You have to get uncomfortable so that you can stretch and expand into who you're meant to be and where you're going. It's
Mhm.
required. And truly, if I'm not feeling fear or discomfort every single day, then I'm in my comfort zone and I'm not
Yeah.
growing.
Yeah. I know it's an uncomfortable truth to realize. Even me like coming onto this podcast and hosting a podcast for me, there was like a little bit of nerves, like not to the point where I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
But to your point, like there's an energy behind it. It means something. Like there is
Mm-hmm.
energy behind what's being put out and really holding this container. Like for me, I felt that energy. So for you, when you say like to kind of normalize, if I'm not feeling some kind of nerves or mild fear every single day, you're in your comfort zone. Wow, like normalizing that is huge.
Yes. And that's what I want to normalize. I want to normalize the humanness and I want to normalize the fear and discomfort. Like it's a good thing and it gets to be celebrated.
hmm So, what is your take? I'm curious. I'm curious on what you're going to say. What's your take on because you want to normalize the fear and discomfort? And I love that, especially as an entrepreneur, you kind of have to just be okay with the unknown. If that is not your thing, entrepreneurship is going to be a real slap in the face. But
Yes.
what is your take on finding safety inside fear and discomfort? Is that something that you help people do? Are you just totally like, to hell with safety, like just get rid of it? Like, what is your take on that?
So, safety is our number one backing of our body of work.
Hmm.
Because think about it this way, everything that you want right now as an entrepreneur, you want more money, you want more sales, you want more clients. Amazing. That's great. But why do you want that? You want more money because really what you want is to feel safe. You want more
Hmm.
clients because you want to make a greater impact. Yeah, but guess what? That's going to give you a feeling of safety, of stability. And so safety, I can't tell you how much safety work we do because as humans, what you crave is safety. And we truly can't allow in more money, more sales, more clients, more visibility, more fame if you don't feel safe first.
Hmm.
So, safety is the number one backing of our work, of identity shifting, of expansion, of frequency, of all of it.
Yeah. I love that take on I'm actually like really happy to hear your answer. I had no idea what you were gonna say because I'm hearing this in more and more well, I'm hearing it in my circles more in the health space. So that's why I was really curious to get your take on it in the identity space. But I know that you are very much of the energetics and the root cause. So is that really the root of everything? Is it safety or is that kind of just a piece of it?
It's a part of it. As humans, we crave safety, we crave feeling belonging, feeling enough, loved, and worthy.
Mm-hmm.
And connection is in there too. But the main ones are safety, feeling enough,
Mm-hmm.
worthiness, and loved. And it
That's
all
beautiful.
it all comes down to those emotions. And so let me just ask your listeners, for whatever you're desiring for yourself in your life, whatever goal it is, it's not the actual thing. It's not the actual goal. Like, yeah, it's amazing to have it, but truly it's that emotion that it's going to give you.
Mm, yeah. Okay. You're like the second person that has recently been saying this particular message. So I would just like to confirm that A, you are like so hitting the nail on the head, but B, I don't think it's a conversation that's talked about a lot, but I'm starting to hear it more. So if this is the first time, if you're listening and this is the first time you're hearing of this, go back and listen to what she just said again, because I think that well, I don't hear a lot of people talking about what is really your true root desire. Like you're saying, you want more money, you want more clients, you want more this, that, and the other. Maybe you're someone that's working on health, you want a healthier body, but what is it really? And you're coming back to safety, but it's all of those other things as well that you're really wanting. So I know that you had mentioned you were kind of in the manifestation work before, and now it's more identity shifting. But is there still an aspect of manifesting that you work on through identity work? And if so, I'm seeing you shake your head. If so, is that really what you work on is like finding the root of, is it the safety that people are wanting? Like, is that something that you do to break down, okay, I'm wanting this surface level manifestation, and then let's work our way down? Like, how do you see that differ between the surface level manifestation and then what the work you really do?
Yes, I love this. Okay, so I do neuroscience manifestation,
Okay.
and we get into the brain, we get into the subconscious, into the body, into the cells. And here's what we do. So I'm allergic to fluff, bullshit, and surface level. And
Perfect. Continue.
and there's a part of this is why I no longer identify as a manifestation coach, because there's a part of it, and you see it all over TikTok. It's so fluffy, it's so surface level. There's nothing
Yeah.
wrong with that, but it's like, please, we get into the actual science of the brain and identity
Mhm.
shifting. And so what I do with my clients is I know where they're going. I know what they want, and it's beautiful. And we get to celebrate that. But I can hear immediately what subconscious belief is backing them and not allowing them to have what they want. And I
Mm.
can also read energy and frequency so we can feel that as well. And so I lead them through a technique called neural energetic encoding, where we take them back to either 0 to 7 in the womb, past life, or generational, where in that moment they made a decision based off of the experience in the time of their grandmom, their grandfather in the womb. A lot of them recently, it's been in the womb, which is really cool.
Interesting.
And so we go back to that time, we hear the limiting decision that they made, and
Mm.
then they see, like, for example, it'll be, I'm not worthy because in the womb, my mom actually didn't want me at that time, right?
Mm.
We hear that a lot. And this can be like 3 months in the womb, they made that decision, I'm not worthy, or I'm not enough, or I'm always meant to struggle. And you can see how that's playing out in their life today. And you can see how that limiting decision from back in the womb has been, I don't want to use the word blocking, but has been preventing them from achieving, receiving their desires or manifestations.
Mm.
And so we really tap into the subconscious mind through theta, and their subconscious mind reveals to them what they need to learn from that event. But before that's revealed to them, we process all of the emotions that they experience from that limiting decision, right? It's not traumatic because we're not reliving the event, we're just witnessing
Mhm.
it through their own eyes. We process those emotions. Then we have the room to receive what their subconscious mind wants them to learn. And from there, we begin to shift timelines. And when we come out of that technique, I'll reveal to them, because they're in theta, they don't remember what they said.
Right.
And I'll reveal it to them. I'll be like, whoa, I cannot believe that. I cannot believe I made that decision. And, when we come out of it, they're, I share it with them again and they're crying. I'm like, yes, this is the space to cry. Please let it out. We have to
Mhm.
process our emotions to free ourselves so we can move forward. So, yes, it always comes back to emotions. It comes back to limiting decisions. And it comes back to, I just wanted to be seen. I just wanted to feel enough. I just wanted to feel worthy, loved, and safe.
Yeah. That's really cool that you have the process to actually learn what is meant or what is meant to be learned, like really pull that out as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because I hear a lot about the processing and like going deep into what the root of it is, but to come out with what they're really meant to learn as well. So is that something that then you bring towards their conscious, like you're pulling out of their subconscious to bring it forward? And does that really, strike a chord with them as well consciously?
Yes. Yeah. Because then to hear what their subconscious mind wants them to learn, they're like, that's actually what I've always wanted. Right? It's like a reconfirmation. It wasn't landing because of what was in the way, because that experience wasn't processed and those emotions weren't alchemized yet. Right?
Right. You're right. So I'm hearing a lot about going into the root and really finding the really the root cause of the thing that they're wanting, the thing that they're wanting to manifest, but this is so much at a deeper level and then finding the subconscious lesson that's really meant to brought forward. But I would love to know how this process that you're leading your clients through made it to something that you now call the fame frequency. How does this all connect together?
Yes. Okay, so most people desire to be seen.
Hmm.
Most people desire, I mean, let's be honest. If you're an entrepreneur, you desire to make a massive impact. How are you going to make a massive impact? Through massive visibility. Okay. And so I want you as a listener to be so honest with yourself. If you desire to be seen, if you desire to be known, if you desire to be massively visible in the spotlight, famous, please own it. Please stop resisting yourself. I know that all of us want that to some degree or another. So just please own it. And that in itself will allow you to open up to receive more. Anyways, because that's a big desire of ours, on the flip side of the coin, what we are most afraid of is being rejected.
Mm.
So we desire to be massively seen, but then the fear of that is deep rejection, right? Because all of
Hmm.
us have experienced rejection in our lives from very young to 15 to present day. Okay.
Hmm.
And from those experiences of being rejected, in that moment, it's like deep embarrassment, deep shame, deep bitterness, frustration, defeat, feeling not enough.
Mhm.
And what happened in that moment is your subconscious mind then feels, oh, when she's being seen, massively visible, dressing the way she wants, speaking the way she wants, leading the way she wants, she's going to feel those feelings again. So we're not going to allow her to go there. We're not going to allow it in fully. And so for most of us who desire to be seen, massively visible, have that fear of rejection, this is where we get to ask ourselves, what are you afraid will happen when you become famous?
Mhm.
Or who do you think you will become when you become famous or known or massively visible? And that question in itself will open up and unlock so much for you.
Yeah. That's such a good, not only a good question, but I also want to come back to when you said wanting to be known, wanting to be seen, but you said at any level. Because I
Mhm.
also know that people are going to hear this and go, I don't want to be famous. But you're also saying this is just there's any tiny little desire in any cell of your body that wants to be seen. Is that
Mhm.
correct?
Yes, because let's just ask a question. So if you don't want to be famous, okay, do you get upset when you post a reel and you're like, only 100 views? I want a million.
That's
Yeah,
the best example because I know so many people that would say, no, I don't want to be famous, but would absolutely have that exact reaction for not getting a lot of likes or views on a reel. So thank you for that example because
Mhm.
I want to pull every single listener out to be like, this applies to you on some level, some degree, even if it is 0.0001%.
Exactly. So, yes, you do want to be seen. And that's why I said to some different degree or level, and you have to own it. You
Hmm.
have to own it to let it in. And then we have to understand what's preventing you from going there because you have a rule going on in your subconscious mind and then in your frequency that's not allowing it in.
Yeah. No, absolutely. This is so powerful and I'm so excited for just to hear how you really help women shift identities and help women into this fame frequency and not only that but normalizing that it's okay to want that. Like I remember when I was really little and I would want to be on television. I don't know if this was around in your area but they would like do casting calls for like Disney Channel and all these things and I'd be like I
I love
really
that.
want to go on those. And I was like 5, 8, 10, something like that. And
Mhm.
so there's a lot of times I feel like when you go back to childhood to see like what you were really wanting, because
Mhm.
now I'd be like, "Ugh, I don't want to do those. I'm not going to go to a casting call for anything. I don't need that." But if
Yeah,
you go back to something from childhood like that and realize what you were gravitated towards in any way, and when I think about that, it's not from a I want to be seen to be liked from people. Like there was just soul desire that I'm meant to be in front of people. And so there's a soul desire like coming back to not from validation from others, but being seen because your soul wants to be seen. Like you in this lifetime, there's a version of you that is meant to be seen in some capacity.
exactly. Yes, that's it. I did pageant shows when I was 12 and I was so scared and so nervous. And I'm like, why did I want to do that? I don't know because I wanted to be seen. I wanted to be on stage in the spotlight. And when we
Yeah.
connect back to our inner child who wanted to do those things, it's like, oh, yeah, I do want to be seen. Okay, let's own it.
Yeah. I see those experiences. It's so interesting you said pageants as well because there's so many different experiences in childhood that I think when I was younger I would judge and be like, why in the world would you do that? But now seeing it from this lens, it's
Mhm.
just what drew you in and it got you to be seen in whatever way that you really felt resonant with. And so instead
Yes.
of judging what other people were doing when they were younger or teenager or whatever it was, I see those people that they do like the bodybuilding competitions. There's all these different things. Like there's always different examples in life that allows people to be seen. And so for you to really like pull that energy,
Mhm.
the examples are endless in our lives. And so to own that and normalize that and bring that out in women is just so incredible because this is such a powerful shift in
Yes.
women, especially in entrepreneurs.
Yes. Can I share my story real quick right before
Please.
the billboard DM slid in?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So this is how you're going to open yourself up to receive invitations of being seen.
All right, let's hear
So,
it.
okay. So 48 hours before that slid into my DMs, I was in this like feeling off, feeling. And this is when you know that you're resisting something. So I got in this habit of checking Instagram analytics and how many people were viewing my stories, uh, reels, whatever. And I was like, why do I keep wanting to do this 24/7? This is so weird. And then I was like, oh, my nervous system is trying to tell me something. So I led myself through my process and I was like, I asked myself along the lines of what are you actually afraid of when you become more visible, when you become more known? And I sat with it and got uncomfortable. And I heard, oh, well, right now you feel a little like you have a lot going on in your life. And you believe that having more eyes on you means more followers, more people in your DMs, more emails, more people you have to get back to. You already feel like your plate is full right now. You don't have time for that. So you're not allowing it in. That was at an unconscious level because consciously, I have an assistant. I have someone who helps me with my DMs. So consciously, I'm like, why am I not being seen? I'm doing all the things. But my brain and body did not know that because I had
Mm.
that rule backing me. So I broke that rule. I rewrote it. I rewired it. I shifted my frequency. And 48 hours later, DM, billboard, cover of magazine.
Wow. I mean, that's the best example you could possibly give. Right then and there.
Yes. So find out what that rule is. You have a rule that's preventing you from what it is that you want, right?
Mhm.
You want to be seen to some level. Something is there that's preventing you. So find that rule and then break it and rewrite it.
Yeah. So such a good example. I'm actually I'm glad that there's things like this that allow us to really embody our work to and like for you for that particular example and having because I it just feels like the cover and the billboard and everything it was already something that was so in alignment with who you are, but it's like you had to become the true embodiment of your work and really shift into that to allow that in. So to have that is when you think about who you were those 48 hours beforehand and what was going through your mind, there was so many other paths that could have been taken. And the fact that you really leaned into the discomfort and then that was the result, you could have never predicted that. But to tell this story now, it's like, yeah, because you chose that.
Yes.
I love that.
Exactly. It always comes back to choice. And when you're making a choice, you're the one who's in control.
Hmm. So I know that there's another big, I guess, opportunity or project or creation that is on the horizon being birthed as we speak in your world. And this is, I would say, another very fame frequency type of project. So can you share with us a little bit how your book got created or how that process was it as serendipitous as the cover and the billboard, or was there something similar that happened?
So I feel that so many of us have books floating in our fields. And I bet listeners right now are like, yeah, I've been desiring to write a book. Yeah, writing a book, being a best-selling author, it's an idea. And
Mhm.
so, can you challenge yourself to take an idea and be like, you know what? I'm just going to fucking claim it and I'm going to own it because I'm ready. So, I had that book just kind of percolating my field for about a year and I was talking about it, but logic brain was like, the timing's not right. Right.
Mhm.
And it's like, trust me, I'm a mom of a 4-year old and a 2-year old tomorrow. Like, I get it. I'm also running a business and company and brands. Like, time really is not on my side right now. I get it.
Mhm.
And it's easy to use that as an excuse, but I
Yeah.
decided not to. And so I had an event coming up in November and I'm like, you know what? I'm writing the fucking book. I'm doing it and I'm getting the cover designed and we're printing it and we are just going with it and it'll be available in April. I needed to do that to light a fire under my ass.
Mhm.
Otherwise, that idea would have been circling my field for another year or 5 years or 10 years. And so the
Wow.
timing is never going to be right. The timing is never going to be right. But again, what I did, I'm pointing to my chair over here. I sat in my chair a few months ago. I'm like, what do I desire? To birth a book, to be a best-selling author, to speak on stages. Okay, well, let's take those scary and bold ass moves and do it. And
Mhm.
so the book is on pre-sale. We are pre-launching. We're writing the book. It is tapping into your wealth frequency. So it's the rich coded method, silent yes method, getting your identity behind selling 5-figure packages. It's going to be incredible. It is incredible. And then that will be launched fully in April. And we're going to be doing a book launch and our global tap and twerk tour coming.
I love it. That's amazing. Well, congratulations on
Thank
the
you.
book and the launch and everything. So, yes, as listeners, you'll be able to get it in April when it comes out. But like she said, it's going to be on pre-sale as well. So, when you hear this, make sure and go grab her book. I know it is going to be incredible. I cannot wait to read it. Truly, it just your energy in book form is just magical in itself. So, I'm so excited. And truly, I love that you have this experience and this story to tell as well. Like you said, it could have sat in your field for years and you
Mhm.
didn't let it. You really just took ownership and said, I'm doing this. And it sounds like it wasn't like, oh, I'm feeling super ready. Let me, have all my ducks in a row, right? It was just, let's do it. And I know I've had some experience with that, like with this podcast. This is why it still doesn't have an intro. It may or may not have one by the time this episode comes out, because you just have to get things out and do it. And to me, it's like
Mhm.
the energy and the codes and the activations that for me are behind these podcasts are so much more worth it to me to just get it out without being perfect. And for
Yeah.
you, just getting that book out there, that is going to create so much more momentum than making sure that you have like a 10-step process to like have your book ready.
Yes. And let me just tell you something. I'm figuring it out along the way.
Hmm.
Like anything that you birth can be truly overwhelming if you allow it to be.
Yeah.
But if you just claim it and roll with it and know that you're supported and that you have your back, and when your humanness comes out, you know that God has your back, Source has your back, like quantum, whoever you believe in has your back, you can take those forward momentum, energetic steps and physical steps, and it's all going to work the fuck out for you because you claimed it, you decided, and that's how it gets to be for you.
Yeah. That's a beautiful affirmation and just remembrance for
Mhm.
us to live in that frequency.
Mhm.
Well, Kelly, thank you so much for this just absolutely incredible conversation. I wasn't really sure which direction I was going to go, but just like now feeling the end of it and like really being in this conversation with you, it was absolutely incredible, magical, and you are just truly the real deal of what people see on the internet. I just want to really validate. I have met this woman in person. I really loved your frequency and having this conversation. I'm so glad we got to dive deep into your work and your why and everything that you're bringing to the world because truly you are a walking permission slip for so many women. And I'm so honored to be able to interview you and talk with you today. So, with that, I know people who are listening are going to be feeling the exact same way. So, where can they find Kelly after this?
Yes, thank you. You just made my head tingle. So we know that this is confirmation and all divine guidance. I love it. Yes, so you can find me on Instagram at I am rich coded. I hang out there. The book's there. Our mastermind is there. Our event in April, come in person in Philadelphia. It's going to be fame frequency, red carpet, all the cameras. Oh, it's going to be incredible. So you can find me there on Instagram.
Awesome. Well, yes, make sure to go follow her and all of her exciting book exciting events in the springtime. So, thank you so much, Kelly, for joining us on the Oh My Gosh, You're Glowing podcast. And truly, this woman is glowing. This is why I have videos so you can see how gorgeous my guests are. Like, there's a reason they look this way, and it's from internal. You heard everything she talked about today. There's no fluff. This is all internal. And you are truly the embodiment of your work. So, thank you so much for joining us. And yeah, thank you for this conversation today.
Yes, thank you, Lindsay. I loved every second of this.
You're welcome. All right. Bye, everyone. Thank you so much for listening. I am incredibly grateful for your time and presence that you shared with me today. If you love this episode, be sure to follow and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. And please share with a friend so we can continue to expand the light codes with our soul fam. If you're looking to transform your life from the inside out with multidimensional healing, see the show notes for more details on ways to work with me. See you next week for another episode of the Oh My Gosh, You're Glowing podcast.